Ghost and Wham is something I need this Christmas holiday to survive. Move aside, Mariah Carey. You got competition. As always, guys, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram and Threads and Twitter or X. And then always make sure to follow me on TikTok at Lielers. I'm so close to 420 followers. I feel like if I do reach 420, that's a new achievement for me. And so I'm like, follow away, guys, follow away. We got so much content for this episode, and you're probably wondering, oh my gosh, she's being consistent. Well, yeah, because a lot of things happen and I need to talk about it. This episode, we're actually going to have 2 spoiler-free reviews. We're not going to do your traditional, like, okay, one episode I'm just going to talk about a movie. No, the Marvels just released this weekend, or, this weekend just got out. And I want to talk about it. I got to see it yesterday, so I'm just like, all right, we're going to leave it until like the very, very end of the episode, so stay tuned. Same thing, we're going to be reviewing Loki season 2 because it just ended this past Wednesday, and obviously it's like all the Easter eggs, all the theories, all the summarization of the season 2 is like fed over through my TikTok account. So I'm like, okay, let's talk about that. And they're both going to be spoiler free. No spoiler versions on this because again, we do have a lot to cover. And we're going to start with social media and everything that happened with pop culture. So let's go ahead and get the show started. Of course, I'm pretty sure everybody who knows I'm a huge Slipknot fan. So you already know what I'm going to kick off with. It's a lot. So for those that do not know, Slipknot posted a very sad message for me. And me as a fan, I'd say, I always tell everybody, Slipknot will forever be my number 1 favorite band because we go all the way back. And I want to put a full disclosure. I know with everything that is happening with Slipknot, you're probably going to be wondering, like, are you sure? And I would say, yes, I'm sure. And when I say favorite band, I'm just focusing on the music itself. I know the music now, it's not the same compared how it was, back then when I first started listening to them. And yes, I will admit that. I actually did review The End So Far, or The End For Now album on the show, so make sure to go listen to that. I think that was probably my longest episode ever in the podcast. And yeah, there were little opinions of the song, of the music style and all of that, but rest assured, everything that Slipknot does outside as a band, whether if it's for business or whatever, that's a part. And and this whole topic right now, I do have some mixed emotions for it, but obviously I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna be like, oh, okay. So and this is not the first time we get this announcement. So Slipknot posted this announcement and then later on deleted it, and we kind of knew it was gonna happen, so thank God I screenshot it. A lot of people screenshot it, and it's going out there. I didn't talk about it whenever they released Craig 133 Jones, which was the guy with the pins. I think they call it the what's it called? Hellraiser mask, but not really. So when they released Craig, same thing. They released the statement and then deleted it. So I'm like, this is not my first shebang that I get to see them doing this shit. But the post that was posted on November 5th, and apparently I'm like, I love iPhone. They tell me when I screenshot things. So on November 5th, literally almost like around 1:00, Slipknot released a statement that says, quote, "We would like to thank Jay Weinberg for his dedication and passion over the past 10 years. No one could ever replace Joey Jordan's original sound, style, or energy. But Jay honored Joey's parts and contributed to the last 3 albums, and we, the band, and the fans appreciate it. But as ever, Slipknot is intent on evolving. The band has decided to make a creative decision and to part ways with Jay. We wish Jay all the best and are very excited for what the future holds." And again, that post has been now deleted. And when I found out about this, it's things happen obviously in life. Of course, we already know that Paul Gray and Joy Jordison is no longer here. They passed away. Literally, Joy, the most recent one that passed away in 2021. I don't like to remember that, but things happen and people get replaced, and obviously the band again from then on is no longer the same. And I knew that the moment Paul passed away in 2011. I knew that whenever he passed away, I'm like, this is my favorite band. I already know either one, like the band's gonna go on hiatus. I'm never gonna hear from them ever again, and it devastated me because again, I was a diehard fan. Keyword was, but for me, it was more like the style. Again, it's never gonna be the same because Paul and Joey were one of the 3 or 4 founding members of Slipknot, that also including Clown and maybe Craig. Everybody else joined on afterwards, and again, it's like now with what's happening, the only sole person that is the original member that or founder of Slipknot is Clown. And it's like that's all we're getting now, apparently, like a bunch of clown style music that is Slipknot now. And again, I don't know what caused this until yesterday. So they released Jay, and I think a lot of fans were very, very upset. And it was to the point where obviously Slipknot disabled their comments along with Clown. Clown is the only person besides, everybody or the main Slipknot account that's disabled the comments on social media. So, and the reason why I say this is because I have seen, because I follow most of everybody in Slipknot. I don't follow Mick because he never posts, but I'll follow almost everybody else, including Chris Fenn, who those do not know, he had the Pinocchio mask. He was number 3 at the time in the original band. But I still follow Chris Fenn. I mean, again, I knew why they released him, and, I could care less. Again, he was a part of, my childhood as I listened to Slipknot, so I'm like, I don't care. Same thing with Jay. I mean, I won't say childhood now, but like, he has done so much great work, and, it's not like he like dissed the band or God knows what. I mean, but anywho, back to what I was saying. So everybody else like that's posting now, and that includes Corey Taylor. I even see, again, I said I don't follow Mick, but I did get to see his social media account, and people are bashing at them for the same reason that they don't agree. The fans do not agree that they released Jay. And a lot of people have been saying that it's like Slipknot is no longer a band, it's a business now. And I think that's just everything, like every other band. And it's crazy because I was just talking about it on the last episode when I was talking about the Beatles. The main reason why the band, decided to break up, it wasn't because of Yoko. It was because, again, business, money, all of that. And, people are people. Obviously, one of the 7 deadly sins that we all carry is greed. We get greedy. We want to make more money, or, we're trying to save as much money as we can. At the end of the day, people would do anything and will go far to that extent just for money. And I think that's probably what happened with Slipknot. And, like now they're trying to make more money because, again, Slipknot's no longer at its peak. I will admit that as a fan, they're no longer at its peak. The peak ended in 2008 before Paul Gray passed away. And that was it, And I don't think the band might realize that. So now they're trying to find ways to make more money, not only with merch, but, they released their own whiskey, which, by the way, as a fan, I have not even bought because it's so expensive. But, oh yeah, but I buy other shit. Anywho, so they're trying to find ways to make more money, and it's like, it's not matching up to what they got before. And, again, I feel like the music industry, it's never going to satisfy us as a fan. Same thing like wrestling. But only because, again, everybody's always at their peak and they're going to go down. I mean, I talk about Bad Bunny too. Bad Bunny is one of those people who I say might be already lowering down at its peak. Ever since he decided to date Kendall Jenner, he's going downhill, which I'm kind of glad because I think, again, everybody now understands that we all hate the Kardashians, and whoever is a part of it. So because of Bad Bunny getting involved with Kendall Jenner, it's going down, and I don't think Bad Bunny has realized it. Everybody now has moved on to Peso Pluma. And if you have not listened to Peso Pluma, yeah, I listen to him, but not as much. But, I'm Hispanic, so I have to, keep on listening to my other race, my other ethnicity, sorry. So, but anywho, everybody always has their peak and they will always go down afterwards. And after they go down, everything's no longer the same. It's always like, I guess people just lose the style. And that just doesn't go for just musicians, just, same thing, actors, shows, all of that. Everything will go down. If I ever become at peak, I will cry and understand. Because right now I'm not at my peak. I will admit that. But if I do, I will cry when it's over. Because I know, again, I can no longer stay at peak. But anywho, so with that being said, everybody's getting bashed on in Slipknot about this whole mess that they did with Jay. Which is great for Jay because, again, like, he didn't do anything wrong. So a little bit background on him. He is the same way. He's been listening to Slipknot, as he grew up. And, at one point, we see, like, this image of him wearing a Corey Taylor mask from, I think it was the first two albums, the self-titled and the Iowa album, where Corey had the dreads mask in a way. And, he's standing next to his dad, and his dad's talking to Jim Root, the guitarist. And then now they created that image now that he's older and now he's part of the band. So, we didn't hear anything about Jay until literally yesterday. That's why I was like, wait. And he posted this long message, and then after that we got to talk about what he said. So I'm pretty sure he still has it posted. It's not deleted compared to Slipknot. But he said, quote, "Sometimes I wonder what it will be like to pay a visit to my wide-eyed 10-year-old self, falling head over heels in love with a new and exciting sound and culture, and tell him all about the last 10 years. Even the hardest day, I like to think he'd be stoked about the adventure that was in store for him. I was heartbroken and blindsided to receive the phone call that I did in the morning of November 5th. Oh, interesting. This was literally last week. Oh my God. Oh yeah, it was last week. In the news of overwhelming and the truly grateful for the outpouring of love and support I received from this incredible community I consider to be my creative and artistic home. This is not the ending to the journey I dreamt of and committed myself to seeing through, not by a long shot. But despite the confusion and sadness, there is something that's provided an equal amount of comfort. For many of you reading this, 10 years ago, we weren't yet acquainted, and now we are. For that, I am thankful in ways I'll never be able to fully express. In love playing the drums, I've always loved playing the drums. I'll always have a passion for music, art, and creative expression. Nothing will ever change that. I don't know how, and I don't know when, but I look forward to creative, loud, passionate, and heartfelt music that we enjoy together again. Until then, please know that it's been a joy of a lifetime to spend in the last 10 years with you, sharing in our love for this special corner of music and art world. This isn't the end, and I'm thrilled to discover what the future has in store for us." And that is what Jay Weinberg posted, so unquote. And so, with that being said, Jay was basically just living his life, and all of a sudden he got this phone call. Who in the fuck decided to make this final decision without Jay being present? And it's kind of sad, and now I understand why people are frustrated. And what I mean by now, I mean like after I read the post yesterday. And with that being said, is kind of shady the way how, Jay found out. He got a phone call. That's it. It's like the decision was already made and he wasn't there. There wasn't even room for improvement or God knows what. So I won't defend Slipknot on this one. I won't, because I do not find the reasoning of why they didn't have Jay present and make it more respectful of, look, this is the reason why we're thinking of letting you go, but change our minds, or something like that. And another theory I have, again, these are all theories, these are not confirmations. I feel like because Jay recently got the award, not for best drummer, but that he's been recognized as a really great drummer. And I feel like Slipknot aside, like not just Clown, but maybe Corey Taylor, maybe Jim, maybe Mick, maybe I can't believe V-Man is a part of this, the new bassist that replaced Paul. Um, I feel like they didn't like that. I guess, it's like, okay, you're getting recognized as an individual. We need to be recognized as a whole. And I'm like, bro, that's an achievement that he gets. I mean, he is a good drummer. Whenever he replaced Joey, I didn't know anything about Jay. But I just think like the reason why they got him is for a reason, because he's really that good. Again, nobody will ever replace Joey. Joey will forever be my favorite drummer. But Jay had these big shoes to fill and he did it. But it's like, bro, why in the hell would y'all decide to get rid of something great? Like, again, he's been a fan of y'all's. It's an honor to be playing for y'all, especially for the admiration that, as a fan we have to be in those spots, And again, like I'm not defending them or anything, because I just feel like the way how this whole decision was executed was really shady. It really was. And now a lot of people are throwing that shade to everybody else. It's sad. And I remember I saw a story, I think, from Alicia Taylor, who is Corey Taylor's wife, who I also follow on social media. She even said that, I guess people were also tagging her, reaching out to her, like what happened to Jay before he posted that whole thing. And she just simply said, like, y'all are just getting blocked. Like, I don't know. I don't care, steer clear from the whole thing, which is, I mean, yeah, but I'm just like, don't say you're going to block people. But at the same time, they don't care. Like everybody else, like, I think because they're so used to the whole hatred for so many years, they're just like, you know what? Get blocked, get fucked, whatever. We don't give a fuck about it, y'all, which that's not a good way to do, because, at the end of the day, you still got to respect the fans, no matter how shitty they are. But at the same time, you got to keep it professional. So it's just like she could have just posted, don't reach out to me, like, or don't reach out to this. Like, I don't know anything, like, just talk about, I just want to talk about my career and stuff like that. Everything that's aside from her husband and Slipknot, she has nothing to do. So it sucks. But at the same time, I'm like, you could have well written it, woman. But anywho, other than that, it's sad, honestly. Will they replace him? Probably. But will they make an announcement for it? Because I would say, my theory, the reason why if they're going to release Jay, they're probably going to replace him with someone and not show their true identity. Kind of what they did originally when they first got in there. We didn't know who they were until like a few people started digging through. It's like, okay, these people are the ones that replaced Joey and Paul. Same thing with Tortilla Man. We didn't know who he was. We just call him Tortilla Man. And then all of a sudden, the guy just decided to reveal himself. And same thing, Slipknot was just like, oh, yeah, he's been, a long friend of Slipknot for so long. And he finally joined in the band. The person that replaced Craig, we still don't know his identity. They just put a picture, and I want to say it's now deleted as well, of the person who replaced him, in a mask that we never seen again. They did release another a Maggot 2.0 mask, and I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if the next band member that they replace for Jay is gonna be wearing a mask, and after that they're gonna slowly turn into like Ghost, for example. Like Ghost is just Tobias Forge and the Nameless Ghoul. But in the band itself, like even Tobias doesn't say like, okay, this is Tobias Forge. No, because in everything that we've seen in the Ghost albums, it just says written, produced, all of that by a Nameless Ghoul. So stuff like that. So they try to keep all of those identities, hidden, even though the fans already know who's who in those band members. But it's like, as professionally, like as Ghost, it's that. It's either the Nameless Ghouls and Papa Emeritus the Fourth. That's it. And Slipknot is slowly starting to turn into that, where it's like, What if we just keep everybody's identities hidden? But I'm just like, are y'all just gonna start deleting band members after that? Because if you think about it, right now, like when Slipknot first started, it was 9 members. And out of all those 9 members, 4 of them are no longer there. It's just 5. We got Clown, we got Mick, we got Jim, we got Sid, and we got Corey. So it's like, wow. But I would say I don't like it. I do not support that decision. And, but will it affect me listening to Slipknot? Of course not. Because again, I listen to their music. I could give a shit of what they do, business side. Whether if I agree with it or not, the music at the end of the day is separate from that. And for me, like, I am a little bit like disappointed as a fan. And, but it's not going to stop me from listening to them. So if people ever ask me like, oh, you listen to Slipknot? Oh, well, we don't agree. And I'm like, okay, well, you don't agree. I don't agree either, but it's not going to stop me. So there's that. But now that we're on the topic of Slipknot and Ghosts, I want to go ahead and talk about really quick. It's crazy how these events are starting to come out, and yet we find out that Slipknot and Ghosts are nominated for a Grammy for Best Metal Performance, and that's going to be iffy. They're also along with Disturbed, I want to say Spirit Box as well. I forgot who the other member that's in the category for that, but I am honestly rooting for Ghost. I don't give a shit. And it's like, oh, but I thought you said you were going to be for... No. The song that they nominated for a Grammy for Slipknot was Hive Mind. I do not like that song. And Ghost got nominated for Phantom of the Opera, which I appreciate, even though it's a long ass song, but I appreciate. So I am definitely rooting for Ghost again. They've been nominated for so many Grammys. The only one won, and that's just Ghost. When Ghost won that Grammy, they were also going up against Slipknot for Custard, and I like Custard. But Ghost won the Grammy for Cerise, and that's also a really great song. Another long song, but it was worth it. But yeah, I'm really rooting for Ghost to win another Grammy. They really deserve it. Slipknot, they already won their Grammy. They don't need to win another one. But yeah, congratulations again to Slipknot and Ghost for that great nomination. So let's go ahead and move it along to the next few more things that I got to talk about with pop culture. Starting with the SAG-AFTRA. We finally got this whole strike is officially over, and I am so happy because as a moviegoer, I'm like, finally. Which means apparently, like, the actors and the studios reach a 3-year deal. So I don't know if we're going to deal with this again in 3 years. But now the actors have the freedom to talk about the movies that they participated in. I've seen, like, literally the very first thing I saw was Gabriel Iglesias announcing that he's going to be in a Christmas movie. I forgot what it was called. But it's a Disney Christmas music. And I'm like, Fluffy and Disney? What? So, but yeah, everybody's happy because, now that they can promote their work, we have so many people that started talking about it. And one of them was Loki. The actors are finally talking about it right up before the season finale was about to start. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But for me, I think the first major announcement that I saw, and I'm like, oh, yes. Ryan Reynolds confirms Deadpool 3, and it's officially coming out on July 26, 2024, and I could not be more excited. The only reason why I'm a huge Deadpool fan, and I'm excited because this is something that I'm looking forward to, especially for the fact that we're gonna get Wolverine in this movie, and I'm so excited. Just the fact that X-Men is now going to be a part of, the MCU. Finally. So this is going to be one of them. And I think this one is rated R. I think. Alongside with this announcement, I also got to see Hugh Jackman posted on Instagram with himself wearing his Crocs with Wolverine Croc charms. My boy, thank you for joining into the Croc family. Yes, I wear Crocs, by the way. I have a bunch of Crocs. I think right now my Crocs are filled with so many charms, and I wish I could show it off. One day I'll show it off on social media. That's why you guys gotta follow me on Instagram. But yeah, like, just the fact that he wears Crocs, I'm loving it. Along with those Croc charms, they're so adorable. But yeah, I could not be more excited for Deadpool 3. this is something I've been wanting. So I'm glad that we're getting it. I mean, yeah, I have to wait a couple of months, but hey, it's a couple of months. I don't have to wait till 2025 or something, you know? Alongside with more confirmations, we're also getting another movie favorite of mine. We're getting Venom 3 in less than a year. Literally a couple, well, you know, almost 300 and God knows how many days. We're getting the next Venom 3 on November 8th, 2024. I gotta wait. Now that one I do gotta wait, but still, I'm surprised that we're getting Venom 3. I'm like, hold up, you know, who's gonna be the next victor, or who's gonna be the next villain? Toxin? I wouldn't be surprised. And just so y'all know, I want to say I did review Venom 3, so definitely go check that out. I had theories, and that's why I said Toxin, so you'll see on that one. But yeah, I'm excited for Venom 3. I'm praying and hoping we might even get Tom Holland on there, or, you know, some Spider-Man in there, because it will be fucking crazy. And besides that, we also got Shrek 5. I think, like, now, I mean, some of us, like me, you know, me and my sister, we both grew up on Shrek. So I've met so many people in my life that love Shrek, and I'm over here like, the hype is back. And the reason why I say that is, like, I've seen raves, like Shrek raves on TikTok, and I found that hilarious. I'm like, would I participated in one? Maybe, but I have to have a group of people to go with me, because I don't want to be the only one that's partying and everybody else is just there, you know? But Shrek 5 apparently got leaked. I'm not sure if this is confirmed or not, but apparently it was a post on LinkedIn. So we don't even know if this is true or not. But they said that Shrek 5 is apparently set to release in 2025. So it's like, a lot of people are like, wait a second, we're getting a Shrek movie? Wait a second, we gotta wait 2 more years? Yeah, we gotta wait 2 more years for that. But hey, I hope it's good, because, I mean, the last 2 were not that great for me, but apparently people love them. For me, my favorite Shrek will always be Shrek 2. You cannot tell me otherwise. A lot of people prefer the second one over any other Shrek movies because of Fairy Godmother's iconic performance of I Need a Hero. Because, wow, I'm like, slay, queen, slay. I know for sure we were talking about the whole, like, release thing and, you know, the pending stuff of what we're gonna, like, movies, TV shows of what we're gonna get. So obviously this year we actually lost the actor Angus Cloud, and everybody started wondering what is going to be the future of Euphoria. For those that do not know, Euphoria is a show that's available on Max. It's very, very entertaining. I love it. So they have confirmed that Euphoria season 3 will be delayed to 2025 due to casting changes, and obviously it's not just Angus Cloud. We also have I forgot her name in the show, but her name is Barbie something. So I think she left Euphoria right after season 2 premiered, and I think it was because of the producers or the directors of the show. And so she decided to leave, so I don't know what they're gonna do with her character, but I feel like season 3 might not be the same now, not only because of Angus. And the reason why I say this, so Angus plays a character in Euphoria named Fez. And when season 2 ended, we literally was just like, what's going to happen with Fez? Like, it left us in a great cliffhanger, and we're so intrigued. But now that, you know, the actor's no longer here, it's like, what's going to happen? Are they recast him? I think a lot of people are not going to watch it to honor him in a way. But at the same time, I'm like, I think at this point, everybody, when I saw when Angus Cloud passed away, nobody started connecting the dots of what he was going through. A lot of people just started assuming about Euphoria, you know, and I'm just like, it's kind of sad, you know, but we'll see. So let's move it along. We also have a reboot trailer that just came out, and I hate it. Mean Girls gets a reboot, and honestly, I feel like the Walmart commercial that came out like not too long ago was like 100 times better. So I'm a fan of Mean Girls. I love that movie. I think I have friends that showed it to me, and I never seen it. I think it was like in 2012 that I barely watched Mean Girls for the first time, and they're like, you don't have a childhood, woman. And I'm like, no, I didn't. So what is it all about? I laughed so hard in that movie, and yeah, they could tell like I never watched it before. And that's something me and my nieces share too. Like, we all love Mean Girls. So the way how they reboot this movie is basically just reflecting on today's generation of high schoolers, and it's sad, it's like it's kind of cringe if you ask me, and I'm just like, am I gonna watch it? I'm like, hell to the fucking no. Unless if my nieces say let's go watch it, I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go watch it, and have a bang at it. And then if you guys have not seen the Walmart commercial, we actually get the original cast except for Rachel McAdams. We get Lindsay Lohan come back to play Cassie, but now she's a counselor. We got Karen, Amanda Seinfeld comes back, and I forgot the other actress, that one that says that's so fetch. They did a Walmart commercial for Black Friday, and I think that was pretty good. And I feel like this is what happened years after the first Mean Girls. And I'm over here like, we need this. Either give us a show, give us a movie of what it is now. And I'm pretty sure they'll make it even more hilarious. But this whole reboot, I'm not a fan of. But again, if my nieces tell me they want to watch it, then we'll go watch it. So stay tuned if we do. But then again, we're going to move on. Amazon Prime also released new images of The Boys Season 4. We have a crazy Homelander. And we also have a very serious, very dark Billy Butcher. And so I'm over here excited. I watched The Boys. I finally watched like all 3 seasons, and I was very, very hooked on it. So I'm glad I got to see it, and I'm ready for Season 4. However, we also have a show right now that people can be entertained by, whoever is the fans of The Boys, called Gen V. I'm already like in the first 2-3 episodes in, and it's already intense. But it is said, they did confirm that The Boys Season 4 is set to release in 2024, and it's going to be taking place a couple of days after the ending of Gen V. So now you have to watch this. And it's like, you can also connect the dots and whatnot. So if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can watch it on Amazon Prime Video. Another thing that I actually got to see, and this was on X. And I was like, I never go on X, but for some reason I decided to go, and I saw it, and I'm like, why is this trending? Why is this? I looked it up, and I was like, hey, forget People Magazine, and we're going to talk about that too. So literally this account decided to rank basically the sexiest DILF of the year, and I think I pretty much agree with the list. Only because I'm like, I kind of like all of these people. So the account is by Archive DILFs on X, and I'm gonna give you the list of 10. Let me know if you agree to it. We have number 10 as sexiest DILF alive, Keanu Reeves. I mean, I don't even know why they call him a DILF. Is he even a dad? I don't even know. But yeah, I'm like, hey, I agree. We started off very breathtaking with him, I guess. I don't know. I got to work on that. We have number 9. We got Ryan Gosling, which, of course, can you not deny that? We have number 8, Jensen Ackles. For those that do not know, he was in Supernatural. He was also in The Boys as Soldier Boy. Oh, that's why I'm like, yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. For some reason, number 7, we got Taika Waititi, the actor / director for Jojo Rabbit. He was Korg in Thor. He was even a Star Wars as IG. I forgot the robot guy. But if you've seen his acting like as in person, it will have to be, what's that movie? I forgot the movie. It's the one where they're doing a game. I forgot. It's just a game. The Free Guy. There we go. Free Guy. I was like, Ryan Reynolds, Free Guy. Okay, so he was in Free Guy as an actor, so definitely check that movie out. It's hilarious. But I was like, Taika, we could have switched Jensen with Taika, honestly. But anywho, number 6, we have Michael Sheen. I don't know if y'all agree with that one. I don't. I was like, what? But number 5, we got Cillian Murphy. And I'm like, after seeing Oppenheimer, yes, definitely Cillian Murphy. And then he's also in that show, Peaky something on Netflix. I haven't seen it because, again, I hate Netflix for raising those prices. So I'm like, definitely check that one out. Peaky Blinders, that's the show, by the way. Number 4, we have Mats Mikkelsen. I don't know if I pronounced his last name right. And I'm like, Mats, yeah, he's definitely a DILF. I like him. I definitely liked him in Doctor Strange. When he was like confused with doctors, what do you call it? Like, oh, doctor. And he's like, well, it's strange. And he's like, oh, certainly, something like that. Number 3, we also have David Tennant. I don't know who David Tennant is. Sorry. I'm sorry I disappointed the fans of him. But I'm like, yeah, he's hot. I don't know about number 3, though. But number 2. Number 2 is Oscar Isaac. And I'm like, yes. And the picture that they used on here. Oh, my God. Sweet Jesus. Like, I'm zooming into the supposed cover that they have. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, no, he definitely got number 2 on this one. And then number 1, the number 1 top DILF of the year goes to Pedro Pascal. And obviously we cannot deny Pedro. Pedro is the internet DILF, which, by the way, he loves that we're doing that for him. Like, he loves it. And for some reason, we're still trying to find that TikTok account, supposedly. But he sees what we post on TikTok. And I'm just like, this man, he doesn't understand it, though. Like, if you had to compare Oscar Isaac and him, he would say Oscar because he's an actual dad. And him, he's not a dad, but, he plays the role of the dad in so many shows. Like, come on. It's amazing. It's beautiful. So, yeah. Do you agree with the list? Let me know. I'm actually going to post the questionnaire. And I think it's available for the Spotify listeners. So let me know if you agree with the DILF ranking. Another thing that, we were like, okay, well, the DILF of the year has been announced. What about People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive? And, some of them, they pick like really good ones. I think at one point we had Paul Rudd. And I was like, yeah, he's sexy. All right. But this year's Sexiest Man Alive went to Patrick Dempsey. And a lot of people that are Pedro Pascal fans were not happy about. And I'm just like, I mean, yeah, but damn, like Patrick Dempsey. And that's funny because I was seeing him in a show somewhere. I don't know where. But for those that do not know, obviously we know Patrick Dempsey from that one doctor show, which I don't pay attention to. That's how you know, because I don't want to be a doctor, but we know him on that one. And yeah, he's pretty hot on it. I think with him and so many other roles, I'm like, yeah, this man really, really, wow. And what's so funny, and now that I'm talking about Patrick Dempsey, a few years ago, back then when 50 Shades of Grey was, at its peak, I was actually putting a prediction of who should play Jack Hyde on 50 Shades Freed and 50 Shades Darker. And I actually said Patrick Dempsey is probably a really great character for him to play. And then they chose whoever they played now. But honestly, I think the movie could have been so much better if Patrick Dempsey was Jack Hyde on there. But damn, they missed it. Oh, well, I'm just putting that out there now that I talk about it. But anywho, do you agree with also People Magazine's pick of Sexiest Man Alive? Let me know. But let's go ahead and move it along. We also get, this is a little game thing that we have. So Rockstar confirms that they will release the first GTA 6 trailer in December. Bro, I don't even play games anymore. But then again, for GTA, I might. I don't know. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out since God knows how long. It's been, I think they said it was No, it wasn't 2011. 2015. 2015, I think it was the year. And I'm over here like, bro, it's been so long. And, now obviously we have new games out. But most of these games are not catching our attention. I think Grand Theft Auto is one of the most played games still by people, which I don't even understand. I used to play it a lot. I used to play it nonstop, but I don't have friends to play with. So, and it's kind of sad because a lot of these people that play GTA 5 were probably under 18 and now they have the opportunity to pay for it. I've seen a meme on TikTok where it was like, oh, like you have to have a parent or guardian present to purchase this game. And then on the next slide is, will that be cash or card? And I'm like, oh my God. And then somebody had the meme of Thanos underneath like, finally. I'm like, no. But yeah, like I swear, I love it. Will I probably get back into gaming? Who knows? Yeah, I mean, I got the release of the trailers in December. We might even find out when it's gonna be released. I highly doubt it's gonna be, in 2024. If it is, oh my god, the sales are gonna skyrocket. And this is where I contemplate whether if I should buy a new console or not. I'm actually thinking about getting rid of all my consoles except for the Nintendo Switch. But like, I don't play Xbox anymore. I don't play PlayStation. I don't have anybody to play with. And then when I do play with myself, it's like boring. I get bored after an hour. So it's like my attention span is very, very small. And it's like, if it's not entertaining, I will find something else to do. So there's that. But I cannot wait. I think a lot of people are just excited about either the storyline or just, GTA Online, and basically try to find ways to mod the game, which is pretty crazy for the gamers out there that are very, very creative on modding games. It's very exciting. So we will see how that's going to go. I'll probably review the trailer once it does come out in December and put our theories on there. So let's go ahead and move on. Another thing I also wanted to talk about, and we were just talking about gaming too. So this one was about Mortal Kombat 1. Apparently, I saw a clip on TikTok where somebody was able to mod Freddy Fazbear from Five Nights at Freddy's into the game, and the way how his style, his execution to flawless victory is starting to make me wonder, maybe these people do need to add the character onto the game, because wow, like, it was pretty brutal. I love the creativity of these people. I love how they managed to add these things and make it so creative. So shout out to whoever did it, and I wish they do add it. So let's go on. Another thing I do want to touch base is on music. And for some reason, like, it was funny. That shout out to TikTok for showing me Maneskin. I think that's how you pronounce the band. They released a song called Valentine, and I've been listening to it nonstop. So for some reason now TikTok was like, oh, she liked this, let's start suggesting more music. And I've been getting Spirit Box and whatnot. But once I got into Spirit Box, because I listen to them too, I actually got to see that Megan Thee Stallion released a song called Cobra and features Spirit Box. It's literally like rap and metal combined, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, forget Limp Bizkit, because we had new metal on there. Like, forget new metal, forget that. Like, this combo was something that I enjoyed. Like, I think the music is out. Definitely go check it out. I'm a big Megan Thee Stallion fan, obviously, because she's a Houstonian. She was here not too long ago, distributing scholarships for Texas Southern University. So I'm glad that she's still, being active here in the community. But just over the fact that she released this, heavy metal song with Spirit Box, I'm like, hold up. I need to listen to her more. Like, I got to support this woman more. But definitely go check it out. And then lastly, I also wanted to touch base about Jared fucking Leto. I think some people don't like him, I guess, acting wise, but when it comes to him being a musician, it's a whole different story. So he actually became the first person to legally climb the Empire State Building. It's something that he's been wanting to do. Obviously, he thought it'd be fun, and later on, he learned that it was very, very challenging, but he did it in the safest, most possible way he could. And then afterwards, it was a way for him to announce the world tour of 30 Seconds to Mars. And I'm like, what? Hold up, man. Like, you're giving us too much information. First the climbing and then this, But yeah, 30 Seconds to Mars is going to be on tour. I'm debating whether to go see them. The only album I listened to from them was the one with The Kill in there. And that's it. The new albums didn't catch my attention, all of that. And I think I actually have that album, the Kill album. So, or It's a Beautiful Lie. I don't know. I forgot what the album is called, but that's the one that I have. But anywho, now y'all know. Let's move it along. I have like 2 things to talk about on talk about WWE and AEW, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the Loki and Captain Marvel. So let's go ahead and go on. So one of the things for WWE, we also had Survivor Series finally confirmed. It's gonna be set to come out on Saturday right after Thanksgiving. So we're gonna have War Games, and I'm excited about it. Can't wait. Now, I did mention this on my last episode. We were trying to figure out whether they're gonna do like the Bloodline and the Judgment Day or either or. So it is confirmed it's gonna be the Judgment Day versus Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso. So it's like, okay, so this is interesting, but there is some theories. And I'm kind of like concerned about because I actually dreamt about it, and I don't know what my intake is on this one. So, War Games is gonna be taking place in Chicago. And everybody's starting to assume that CM Punk is gonna show up. And I'm just like, ain't no way. And I think I saw this before going to sleep, and that's why I dreamt about it. Somebody theorized that maybe they add a new character, or they add somebody in the roster or in the match, and then, the other group, like with Cody, Seth, all of them are outnumbered and they need an extra member, and then bam, that's where CM Punk shows up. And in my dream, I actually got to see that they probably, or again, this is a dream, this is not confirmed or anything, but I'm like, the only person that they can add on the Judgment Day will have to be Drew McIntyre, because right now he's conflicted with the whole him losing to Seth and still not being able to get a title opportunity again, this, and that. So in my dream, it's like they have Drew McIntyre joining the Judgment Day. And then that's when I was like, I just remember telling my dad, because me and my dad watch wrestling. And I tell him, I'm like, wait a second, they're outnumbered. So that means they're going to add CM Punk into it. But ain't no way, because and the whole time I'm over there yelling, like, ain't no way, because after the events of AEW, it's like they can't do that because they already know the CM Punk is probably not he's not professionally there. So it's like they're not gonna, hire somebody that's a risk to not only the company but to the employees. Who knows? But in the dream, CM Punk comes out, and then, everybody was losing their shit, this, and that. And I was just like, well, didn't they say that they weren't going to hire CM Punk after that whole mess, this, and that? But hey, it is what it is. And then in there, obviously, we got to see that, their team, not the Judgment Day, but, Seth, Cody, they don't even have a name. Just all of them, including CM Punk, they won and all of that. So that was my dream. And now I'm just like, and I remember telling my dad right afterwards, I was like, okay, so I dreamt about this, so stay tuned. My dreams usually never come true. I be having dreams that I'm just like keeps me paranoid, but it's just like, it never happens. So I'm just like, okay, I don't think it's, it's just our unconscious just, projecting shit and God knows what. So forget what you hear on those other things where it's like, oh, well, the reason why you're awake is because you're in somebody's conscious or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, right. If I was in somebody's conscious, why don't they just reach out to me? But anywho, so but yeah, that's my theory on War Games with what my dream said. So we will see in 2 weeks, right after Thanksgiving. I probably won't be able to watch it. I'm usually like, every time there's a pay-per-view, I'm usually with my brothers and my sister-in-laws, but we'll see. But anywho, I also found another video on TikTok that it's an AI generated conference call with WWE, and I found it very hilarious because you start to wonder, wait a second, is this really true or not? And let me see if I could play a clip of the video so that way you can hear what they say. So,
all right, I didn't really expect all of you to show up, but Sean and I wanted to talk to all of you because Survivor Series is coming and we're having huge expectations. Randy Orton probably will be here, and there's a chance that CM Punk will also be here as well. Some of you like Punk, some of you don't. I'm pretty sure that the only one who really has an issue with him in this call is Seth Rollins. So we're here to squash this beef. It's time to be professional.
So y'all set my ass up pretty much. I'm not going to give this cancer an apology if I don't feel like it. I already am a professional. Y'all were there when I worked with Riddle, even though I didn't really like him that much.
Rollins, come on. With all due respect, you've called this man a cancer and told him to stay away. You're our champion. If you say that and he...
I'm just stopping it right there. This is too funny. So apparently the only person that... Who the hell is this guy? I don't even know who the other guy is talking. And it's not Shawn Michaels, it's somebody else. And the person you hear yeet in the background, that's actually Jay. So. But as soon as I heard Triple H say, okay, we're going to squash this beef, I'm like, yeah, no, this is definitely AI generated. It's deadly. This is what I mean. It's deadly, but convenient at the same time. So, but yeah, that's something I saw. And if you guys want to check out this video, it's by LA Knight SZN. It's like saying Zane, LA Knight Zane. It's on TikTok. And apparently it says credit Hang 'em High on Twitter. So there's that. If you guys want to check it out. And I think I found another video too of the follow-up after that. But it was too hilarious. And in there, the reason why I liked this video so much was, or actually it was another. No, yeah, it is this video. Apparently, Io Sky is also like talking in Japanese. And I forgot who. But I want to say that was Roman. Roman Reigns started talking to her in Japanese. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, imagine this was real, you know, like, but it's a great way to fool the audience. And you know, again, I was just talking about Survivor Series. There is that theory. So who knows? But I love Survivor Series. I think that's one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time. Like, forget WrestleMania, forget Royal Rumble. And I will say this again, you know, if they had a Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT, shit would have hit the fan. I would have loved to see that, but you know, they're not doing that. It doesn't look like it's gonna happen. But anywho, let's go ahead and talk about AEW. I think I only have one thing to talk about. Yeah, I do. And it's apparently Samoa Joe relinquished the Ring of Honor TV champion and is now going after MJF's AEW champion. And I'm like, another one. And the only reason why I say this is because last episode I was just talking about how MJF is like in multiple storylines, and it's just like, what the fuck, man. And now this with Samoa Joe, I'm like, I cannot take this anymore. I'm like, just fucking make up your minds. But I'm still kind of rooting for Jay White being the AEW champion. So for those who do not know, we already seen this little beef between Samoa Joe and MJF since like NXT times. And this was when Samoa Joe was still the NXT champion. And if you guys do not remember this little clip, is where he comes out of the locker room and there's so many people, there are guards that are escorting him Goldberg style to the ring. And one of the security guards was actually MJF. And Samoa Joe actually pushes MJF to the wall without us knowing that this was a canon event that's going to happen later on. So it's crazy how we just went full circle with this. And now it's like Samoa Joe is taunting MJF for that. Like, you know, it's like, I'm going to do it again. He did do it while they were in AEW. But I'm just like, he needs to do it again. Will I want to see Samoa Joe as AEW champion? Sure, why not? But again, I'm still rooting for Jay White. I want to see him as champion. And maybe last it for like a couple of months. And then Samoa Joe. So anywho, that wraps up for the pop culture stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about the spoiler-free versions for Loki and the Marvels. Starting off with Loki because it just ended in Wednesday, so we got to talk about that. Season 2 ended and it gave us an unexpected ending. I feel like this was probably one of the greatest things that happened. Only because like for Loki, we've seen him on this sad journey. And we're trying to see, okay, where does this Loki come? Like, what does he do that makes it different than the rest of the Loki? And I feel like Marvel and Tom Hiddleston, because he actually had a say during the whole show, they gave Loki the best character development than any other Marvel hero or villain. It's like, for me, I feel like whenever this the show ended, it's just like you start to wonder, like, wow, like I can't believe it's gone that far. Now, you may be wondering, like, well, the show, like, it did started off boring. Like, you're just, like, watching the first few episodes and you're trying to figure out, okay, where does the entertainment, come? And I would say, yeah, like whenever I watch the episodes, I'm just like, oh my god, like every ending, it didn't keep me like up in my toes until like the second to last episode. And then obviously whenever the season finale came out, it's like, oh my god, like okay, what's really happening? And again, I finally got hooked at the very end. It's kind of sad. But it is worth the watch so that way you can understand, you know, the events that happen in both season 1 and 2, and you get to see how Loki ends up. And again, it's pretty good. I would say it's good. It's sad, but it's pretty good. And the thing is that like you become attached to all the other characters, but unfortunately, I think right now there has been no confirmation if there's going to be a season 3, or is there, if even if there is, or even if there's going to be Loki or Tom Hiddleston back as Loki. I feel like this is probably it. And we're already like, I feel like, and I think I talked about this last week, but I feel like, yeah, Marvel used to be at its peak, but it's like all these main characters that we seen in the beginning, they're all starting to wrap up their story, and it's like, really, you know? So yeah, I think Loki finally got his closed chapter, if you say. And so it's definitely worth watching it, because now you understand where Loki is gonna end up. And then now once you watch the new movies, you're like, okay, well, at least I know where, you know, he's at, what he's doing. So definitely go watch it. I highly recommend that show. I loved it. There is no reason, like, there is not just another storyline. And remember, Loki is a variant technically. So with you keeping in mind, obviously they cover all of this, but it's mostly like right after Avengers Endgame where Loki disappears. This is this Loki. The one that we saw from Infinity War, that was that Loki. So you start to wonder, like you start trying to figure out a few little what if moments or theories that, you know, Loki can do, but at the end of the day, it's not. So this Loki, we get to see that chapter close, and it's worth watching it. But anywho, I just wanted to touch base on that. There are a lot of Easter eggs out there that you might start to put in, and that includes with the new movies that are been out. So definitely keep those in mind. I'm not gonna say it because again, I don't want to spoil the show or whatnot, but Loki season 1 and 2 is out on Disney Plus if you want to check it out. Now let's go ahead and talk about the Marvels, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up the show. So I got to see the Marvels, and I was not like very hyped. Keep in mind, this movie is very short compared to every other movie in the MCU. The shortest movie, and I'm just like, is it even gonna be that good? I had a lot of doubts. I did get to see a rating from IGN. They rated it an 8 out of 10. And I'm like, wait a second. Okay, maybe I'm going to be hooked on it. And it was funny, too, because I went to go watch it with my dad. And I was telling him, I was like, it's been a while since I've been, like, off of my seat. And like, you know, where I get excited for a movie, and I wasn't hoping that, you know, the Marvels was gonna allow me to do that. But anywho, so right now for the Rotten Tomatoes score for the Marvels is at 62% with an 85% audience, and 62 is technically fresh. It's not certified fresh, but it's a really good tomato. Why am I talking about tomatoes like that? But I was like, okay, so it's semi good. Let's see why. So there were a few cringe scenes, I will admit that. And I feel like some of it could have been unnecessary or it could have been improved. And what I mean by that is like it literally felt like I was watching like a Disney princess movie. There we go. And you know me, I'm not that big fan of a princess, you know. I'm like if you find a goth princess out there, like a tomboy princess, that would be me. But all of that, I'm like, ugh. But I feel like, yeah, some of it could have been edited out. It's like, what's the purpose, you know? Other than that, I feel like the CGI was even bad. And I watched it in a regular theater. It's not like it was like an IMAX or 3D, all of that. The CGI was kind of off on certain parts, especially during the cringe scene. So it's like, this could have been improved too. Like, I feel like they need to tone it down with the CGI, make a few little tweaks out there to make it look realistic, because I feel like just the balance off of the CGI kind of affects the movie as well, especially for those that are like that watched the original movies of the MCU. It wasn't that heavily CGI. And then keep in mind there is a mid-credit scene that is definitely worth watching. For me, I feel like that's what kind of got me to jump off of my seat. There's no end credits. I didn't stay for the end credits because that's what they told me, is that there was a mid-credit scene. And for this one, you do have to pay attention to the movie, obviously, because then you start realizing, like, for me, the way how it happened, I'm just like, wait a second, this just happened. Keep that in mind. And once you do, you start freaking out. So, and it leads off, it's not saying like, okay, it's another Marvel's movie. No, it continues the MCU timeline. And I feel like, the whole thing with the multiverse, I'm just saying this right now out loud, based on what I said last week, that they're thinking about bringing back the original Avengers cast. I feel like right now it's a good moment because we're talking multiverse, and that same thing with Loki. This whole multiverse storyline is great. But again, the way how they're using the villain might not be it, because they're trying to figure out how to make Marvel even good. This movie, The Marvels, is pretty good. Even though it doesn't talk about the multiverse. Just know that. It's right after, I would just say it's right after it's right after Ms. Marvel. There you go. Because I'm like, it's right after WandaVision, but it's also after Endgame. It's a bunch of afters, but it's right after Ms. Marvel. You do need to watch it. However, the movie does cover a lot of that background. So it's like, you really don't need to watch these movies to understand what's happening in the Marvels. And the reason why I say this is they cover Captain America. They cover the first Captain Marvel. They cover what happened in WandaVision, and they cover what happened in Ms. Marvel. So you really don't need to. But I would say definitely watch Ms. Marvel, only because it's connected right then and there. The very last episode, you get that little end credit, I want to say, and that's when the Marvels is happening. So that's the only way I would say that. But you don't need to watch Captain Marvel, or you don't need to watch WandaVision. So there's that. But other than that, I honestly did love the movie only because of the mid-credits scene. I think that was the only reason why I was like very, very hyped. But I mean, the movie was really funny. Was it something different than, let's say, Quantumania or any other movie? Sure, yeah. There was let's say, like, for example, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I also reviewed. One of the things I did point out, and I will leave this in the spoiler-free review, because in the part where some people fight, they have music in the background, but that's, the style of James Gunn and Guardians. Now here in the Marvels, I was like, if they do the same thing that they did in Guardians, obviously this movie could have flopped, but they didn't. And it's been a while since I had like an original fighting scene with just regular music, non-vocals, all of that, and it's great. And I also forgot to say this, they do that in Blue Beetle, in DC's Blue Beetle. I don't think I reviewed that movie. And same thing, if you have fighting scenes where regular music with vocals is playing, like you're promoting the song and whatnot, it's not gonna do so good. I just need original music, non-vocals, because then you're distracted with the music, then you're singing along to the song, and you forget what's happening with the actual movie. I feel like that kind of style music needs to steer clear of these movies. But I think that kind of helped them. And then overall, the storyline, you start to understand Captain Marvel a little bit more. And yeah, I honestly, I like the movie. But I will have to agree with the Rotten Tomato score. I'm probably going to give it a 62% too. Because there were a little flops that could have been better. The movie, for it to be so short, it was actually great. It's great that they didn't prolong it too, because it probably would have been so many unnecessary things. It's like, and it wasn't like a very, like, so many things are happening at once. Like, hold up, how did we get to point A to point B? No, like, they kept it good. And so for a really short movie, it was worth watching. So definitely go watch The Marvels. And again, you don't need to catch up on other shit. You can just go watch it without knowing anything about Marvel and all of that. But that basically is the spoiler-free version. I'm not going to talk about the actors because we already know how great they are. We've seen them in of their works of the other things that they have done in the past. So it's like, what is there to say? That wraps up the show. Obviously, do not forget to follow my social media accounts. Find me at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X. And at Lielers on TikTok. Lielers on TikTok. Let's see who becomes my 420th follower. I'm like, but that would be really, really hilarious just to reach that point. But no, definitely go check it out and let me know what you thought about everything else. If you have any other, like, let's say if there was videos on what do you call it, on TikTok, that if I repost them, I might end up looking at it, because I've seen a lot of my followers reposting videos and I find it hilarious. So I'm like, yeah, you might be one of those people. But anywho, that wraps up this show, and I'm gonna try my best to keep it consistent. Obviously, there was so much that I covered literally for the past week. The whole thing with Slipknot, it literally happened right after I posted the episode, and I'm like, I could have just talked about this right then and there. But you know, I'm glad I waited because Jay decided to post what he had to say yesterday, literally. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you guys on the next one.